Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade.
And I'm Russ here. More than 6 months after a Billings woman was last seen, an arrest is made for her murder.
Laura Johnson first reported missing in September after failing to show up for work or return calls from family.
Johnson's boyfriend, 53-year-old Greg Green, was arrested in Nevada yesterday and charged with deliberate homicide.
Despite never finding a body, DNA evidence linked blood inside of Green's work truck to Johnson. Q2's Samantha Sullivan following this story for us tonight. Sammy.
Russ and Jeanelle, Greg Green and Laura Johnson were living together at a home here in Billings for a couple of months before Johnson was reported missing by family members back in September. Green denied any involvement, but security camera footage from a neighbor's home showed that on September 14th, Green left his home with a large, heavy object in his arms that looked like a body. He placed it in his work truck, covered it with a blanket, and put a shovel in the truck bed. DNA evidence showed blood spots later found in that truck were almost certainly that of Laura Johnson. Footage showed Green was gone for about 3 hours that night, and footage from gas stations and way stations along the interstate show Green traveled through Laurel and over the Yellowstone River Bridge. Police are now asking people in the area south of Laurel to be on the lookout for a possible burial site.
And we're hoping that landowners, sportsmen, people recreating, people living in those areas use this time to check their properties and looking for ground disturbances, burial locations, or other evidence. Specifically, we're looking for 2 rectangular red suitcases. So anything just to bring up the vigilance of the community so we can hopefully narrow down a better search area to hope recover her and bring her back to her family.
Anyone with information is asked to call the Billings Police Department.
Tonight, Q2 goes on special assignment as we dive into Montana's promise to test all untested rape kits. For years, hundreds sat on evidence shelves across our state.
Well, we wanted to know what changes are now in effect after a sexual assault task force took shape 4 years ago. Has Montana kept good on its promise? MTN's Andrea Lutz finds out.
We try and make it as comfortable as possible.
Inside the walls of this room, care for rape victims.
This is the only room in the ER that is set up in this way.
Evidence collection bags.
Tiffany Deaver, a sexual assault examiner nurse, walks victims through the process of a rape kit.
I'm going to talk to you and we're going to get through this.
Nurses at Billings Clinic alone, seeing 150 sexual assault victims a year.
Getting the kit done in a timely manner can make all the difference. You never know if there has been multiple victims by the same perpetrator and how many other victims that your one kit could potentially help in the future.
In this box, so much power. But for years, hundreds sat untested on evidence shelves across our state. While across the nation, a sudden awareness to a massive problem, a backlog.
We wanted to understand why that happened and whether there is a better way to do that.
In 2015, Montana Attorney General Tim Fox created a sexual assault task force. But it came on the heels of an ugly revelation. The U.S. Department of Justice harshly criticizing Montana, specifically Missoula and the University of Montana, for not properly investigating rapes.
And we had to go to all of the police chiefs and all of the county sheriffs and ask for these numbers. And we ended up finding out that there were 1,252 untested sexual assault kits that have accumulated in our state.
1,252 untested rape kits that could have led to justice. Some agencies unequipped to handle the kits, others, like Billings Police, waiting for DNA technology to catch up.
We're able to successfully prosecute a lot more cases.
Billings Police Detective David Cardillo says 430 of their untested rape kits were submitted as a part of Montana's initiative to end the backlog.
Those kits were not submitted initially because we had a victim that didn't want to prosecute or lost contact with us, or we didn't have a known offender.
And along with that, there's this, a massive government DNA database called CODIS that in recent years has expanded, meaning sexual assault cases that were once cold are now positioned for finding a suspect, now reinvestigating 31 of those cases from years ago.
We're able to take those kits from the 70s and 80s and 90s and still use the advancement DNA to extrapolate the evidence from there and apply it back to that case.
But a ripple effect of the task force Montana didn't see coming. A major influx of kits now coming into the Montana State Crime Lab in Missoula.
I believe nationally there is an influx at all labs, and it is awareness.
DNA supervisor Joe Pasternak says nearly 50% of evidence that comes into this lab, rape kits.
Underwear bag. We have a prioritization system within our laboratory for how we work cases. But people crimes come first, and these are the predominant cases that we get.
In response to the influx, the state hiring 2 full-time technicians.
We're hoping for the start of the summer.
And in the process of installing this, a DNA screening robot.
Kind of putting it through its trials right now.
Montana law enforcement agencies now immediately sending rape kits straight to the crime lab. Protocols for victims' rights reviewed, and a cold case investigator even hired.
And changes to the rape kit themselves, barcodes added to the box to track it to ensure they don't sit on evidence shelves.
All of this a way Attorney General Fox says Montana can provide victims with accountability and faith in the justice system.
We're using a trauma-informed, victim-centric approach now, which we didn't really do just a few years ago in Montana.
I don't think of this as being a black stain on our state. I think of it as being this great opportunity to get all these kits tested.
Montana leaders continuously working to count, track, and test. In Billings, Andrea Lutz, MTN News.
Thanks, Andrea. And across Montana, state authorities gathered rape kits from 42 different jurisdictions.
Of the 1,252 kits, experts submitted DNA from 468 of them to the National Federal Database. That database, Andrea says, is set to grow as more evidence is collected.
Well, some major decisions made today at the state capitol. Lawmakers saying yes to 3 bills. The Montana House took the session's final vote on Medicaid expansion, 61-35. Sending that to Governor Steve Bullock for his signature. The House also revived and endorsed a bill to finance a new $48 million Montana Historical Society Museum in Helena by increasing the state lodging tax by 1%. Final vote is expected next week. And finally, for the first time in several sessions, lawmakers approved a major bonding bill for construction projects across the state, including the $32 million renovation of Romney Hall on the MSU campus in Bozeman.
These investments are critical to all of our counties. We want to bridge the urban-rural divide here. This is for everybody. And these projects aren't going away. These are projects that we're going to have to fund. We got to help our local communities and our state make the kinds of investments that our predecessors made on behalf of our generation.
The legislature still must work out final details on the state budget and a key energy bill affecting the Colstrip power plants that could wrap up. They could wrap up those by the end of the next week and the entire session.
A redacted version of the highly anticipated report by special counsel Robert Mueller released today. Now, that report stating that Mueller was unable to conclusively determine if President Trump obstructed justice. Nicole Killian has the latest from the White House.
President Trump flew to Florida Thursday night for the holiday weekend, happy with the results of the Mueller investigation.
I'm having a good day, too. It was called No Collusion, No Obstruction.
Attorney General William Barr held a morning press conference before the report's release.
The Deputy Attorney General and I concluded that the evidence developed by the special counsel is not sufficient to establish that the president committed an obstruction of justice offense.
But on the issue of obstruction, special counsel Robert Mueller's report noted if we had confidence after a thorough investigation of the facts that the president did not commit obstruction of justice, we would so state. However, we are unable to reach that judgment. The 448-page report states the president's efforts to influence the investigation were mostly unsuccessful, but that is largely because the persons who surrounded the president declined to carry out orders or accede to his request. On collusion, the report did not find that President Trump or his 2016 campaign aides committed any crimes in their contacts with Russians. While the president declared victory, top Democrats vowed to keep investigating his actions.
He left that issue to the Congress of the United States, and we will need to consider it.
The Mueller team scrutinized 10 incidents that could potentially have led to obstruction of justice. Those included firing FBI Director James Comey and initial efforts to remove Mueller himself. The report also reveals the president's reaction when then Attorney General Jeff Sessions told him about Mueller's appointment. According to Sessions' former chief of staff, the president slumped in his chair and said, "Oh my God, this is terrible. This is the end of my presidency." But his reaction today, a Game of Thrones-style tweet, said simply, "Game over." Nicole Killian, CBS News, the White House.
All right, turning to the weather now. Ed's in for Bob tonight. If you were out there this evening, it was absolutely perfect. And you said tomorrow's going to be even better.
Well, I'm here to take any kind of joy out of that because there's always a downside. Let's go ahead and take a look as we've got areas where we've got fire weather concerns. In fact, most of the eastern plains we're going to have this, but particularly in northeastern Montana because we'll have wind, we'll have low humidity and those warming temperatures. So fire risk will start to go up tomorrow along with those breezy conditions, but we'll also be hitting the warmest temperatures we've seen so far in about the last 6 months. Rain and higher elevation snow start to move back in Friday night into Saturday. And while things are a little cool on Easter Sunday compared to the rest of the weekend, we're still looking at temperatures about average for this time of the year. We'll take a closer look at the details coming up.
All right, thanks, Ed.
Many forces of nature can cause power outages, storms, snow, and today, a squirrel.
Yeah, some 7,600 customers on the Billings West End had a major issue when that tiny creature found its way into a substation on King Avenue this afternoon. Shortly after 12:15 this afternoon, power was cut to businesses, homes, and streetlights there.
Upon inspection, crews found the squirrel deceased inside the station, possibly tripping a circuit. It took crews about 90 minutes to restore power to the area.
Well, coming up on tonight's 10 o'clock news, a Great Falls woman is hoping her mother's death helped save lives. We'll have her story and warning next.
And in sports, it's a soaked celebration for Leslie Spalding's San Diego State golf women. She talks with Scott about the dramatic finish for a conference championship.
You're watching MTN News with Jeanelle Slade and Russ Riesinger. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Breen. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.